Animal training is an important part of the companion animal industry. Animal training allows for a strong owner-to-animal relationship, confidence and control of your animal in a situation, and outgoing animals that are properly socialized. There are many ways to get involved in the animal training industry. Dr. Jill Morstead is a certified dog trainer and the owner of Prairie Skies Dog Training.
I took my first dog training class when I was 8 years old, and largely as a consequence of books that I read in the library, especially one called Champion Dog Prince Tom. I got interested in the possibilities of working with dogs. It's been avocational for most of my life. I've trained dogs as a hobby, got interested in teaching other people how to train dogs, and then really not that long ago merged my vocational experiences and my training at the university with my avocation and have found myself here. So I teach people how to train dogs, but the real truth is that when dog trainers are trying to use historically and sometimes artistically successful forms to influence dog behavior, what we're really trying to do is influence human behavior and create a social world that's mostly more to our own liking.
Jill talks about what led her to a career in dog training.
In part, the opportunity to do something I enjoy very much. All of those suggestions about following your bliss or find what you love to do and it will never seem like work certainly applies here. I also tend to think in broader terms about the issues having to do with safety and the quality of public health in the community. Responsible dog ownership includes training dogs, and maybe it's my impulses as a teacher, but that's for me the bigger picture.
Jill explains her educational background.
Like a lot of people, I have traditional education in public schools. I grew up in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. After high school, went to college in Denver, and then I have a master's and a PhD in English, specifically in rhetoric and language theory. And I had some ideas about my notion that you can't use words to train dogs, but I wasn't quite sure how to articulate that until I found a book by a woman named Vicki Hearn that articulated it for me and again merged those two things together. My education, in terms of my experiences working with people and teaching them how to write, and been an educator and a writing teacher for most of my adult life, and also worked in publishing. Teaching people how to use language is in part a process of teaching them what language can't do, and in part a process of teaching them what language cannot do. Language doesn't mean much to a non-language using species like a dog. So when people tell me my dogs don't listen, I tell them to stop talking. And that might be one way of saying this is where my education and my experience with dogs and people come together.
Jill talks about current challenges for the industry.
I think one of the challenges right now is that dog training per se is a completely unregulated, uncredentialed industry. Anybody who wants to can hang out a shingle and call themselves a dog trainer, and there's no regulatory body or any individual or agency or organization who can tell them they can't. And so what we tend to see are a lot of well-intentioned but less qualified, less experienced folks who, for a range of reasons, some of them good and some of them not always so good, set themselves up as their community's current incarnation of the dog whisperer.
Michael Backus is a professional dog handler and shows boxers at AKC shows.
Well, my day-to-day career, I'm a staff assistant with Senator Chuck Hagel, and that keeps me pretty occupied. But besides that, I currently show boxers in AKC shows, and that's my involvement right now at this time with with dogs.
Michael is involved with the companion animal industry and started at a young age.
Over the years, I was very active in showing at a young age, and then I kind of progressively got involved in judging, also doing demonstrations with young groups of kids, young 4-H'ers, and also there's a lot I've done. Even with demonstrations, I've taken my dogs to the schools I've attended to show my classrooms. And then also I've taken my dogs to nursing homes.
Michael explains about the different areas involved with companion animals.
Are there any specific maybe career areas or things that you would recommend someone who is interested in companion animals should do?
Yeah, I guess coming from a business side of it, you know, the industry is huge as far as companion animals. I mean, there's so many different areas that somebody can go into. There, you know, there's vet care, there's food, there's supplies, there's grooming. I mean, there's just countless. The list goes on as far as what somebody could get involved with. And coming from a business aspect of it, I guess kind of a little statistic I just kind of throw in there. I read that over 63% of all households own a companion animal, and that equates into roughly 71 million homes in the United States. I mean, you look at that number and you think about, you know, the number and just, you know, what's involved with that, and you know that, you know, from a business side of it, you know, there's just great, you know, room to grow. I mean, just the marketing aspect of it, and it just can go on. You know, somebody can get into sales, marketing, manufacturing. I mean, that's just, you know, the business side of it, and I mean, it's a huge industry.